difficult. So as a mentor, perhaps one is required to go beyond even aspects of you are a mentor in research and attend to some other issues that are beside your research if you are to manage, or rather to see your mentee through their work successfully. They have so many other competing things that interfere with their main reason why you are in that relationship. Thank you, Prof. Thank you very much, Desmond. Group 3. Group 7.
Maybe group 4. In addition to the timing factor, the team in group 4 looked at the majority have both been mentored, and they've been mentors and mentees. And some of the things that came up in terms of challenges, as I said, it's the time. It's also in terms of trusting your mentor. One professor gave an example where there's a lack of trust on the mentorship side, where the mentee thinks that their work is going to be shared among others and also distributed or published. So there's that. There's also repetitive questions, especially if you're mentoring high school or newcomers at universities. Just looking at my notes. Yeah, those were the two key main ones. But again, most of them we've mentored and we've mentored before. In terms of the improvements, we didn't get to that point. So sufficient time not allocated. Over to you, Professor Wanja.
Thank you very much. Yes, the question of trust is very important. Time, it looks like there's a competing time for both the mentee and the mentor. And we need to see how that, of course, the mentee has to create time and of course have deliverables, but the mentor also needs to create time and to come down to a level that the mentee can actually trust them. Any other contributor? We have heard from group 1. Yes, group 2, please.
All right. So group 2, we actually looked at all that has been discussed in terms of the competing issues that the mentors that are there in institutions of higher learning have in terms of social and economic competing tasks that they might be having. So sometimes it's very difficult for them to concentrate with their research component because it really needs dedication. And we also went to the part of how do we now improve mentorship in our institutions. Then we've talked about creating time, both on the side of the mentee and the mentor, but we added that if this would necessitate us having a review of policies, because now the timetables that we have, the schedules that we have in these institutions are sometimes back to back. So if there would be need to review some policies so that there is actually intention in the time that is created for research mentorship. But I think it's very important, and this will encourage the faculty to actually do it as part of their day-to-day routine. And apart from that, just improving the research infrastructure that can be able to assist, to encourage this faculty to actively take part in research mentorship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, group 2. Group 6, 7. Anything new to add?
We head up to group 5.
Yes. Oh, the only group 5. I had 6 on my. Thank you very much, the groups. We have really summarized what I had in mind in terms of the challenges. As a mentor, you have seen some of the problems that we have had, and some of the challenges that we've had and how we need to institutionalize. I'll just summarize it. some of the challenges that we have. We know that as a mentor, they need to support, they need to serve as a source of knowledge. So when you have a challenge where a mentor is not providing information, that becomes a problem. They need to help to set goals, and the goals should be agreed upon between the mentor and the mentee. Then we need to have accountability. Of course, if there's no accountability, then the whole relationship will break. Mentors are supposed to offer encouragement, therefore helping not only professional ways of doing things, but also helping to even in the social aspects, so that the mentees feel they're encouraged, and you're working with them as part of their career growth, their personal lives, therefore understanding where they're coming from if they have any issues. Making connections, willing to listen. So the whole idea of seniority, if you're willing to listen, they have to be trusted, because they're supposed to be that person who is not a family member, that person who is an outsider, who the mentee can listen to, who can go out and pour their heart to. Therefore, listening is a big skill when it comes to mentorship. They should offer constructive feedback. We know we've had supervisors who, when you're talking about research, supervisors who don't give any, they either give very blunt or rude feedback that the mentees just feel they are not encouraged anymore. You could still give the feedback, but it has to be constructive, polite, and in a respectable way. They should provide guidelines, and they should have relevant experience. Of course, they are a free resource. So instead of paying for consultancy, then one should find a mentor. So there are many reasons at the institutional level why why we may fail to have, and why we need to have mentors. For example, so there are reasons we need better mentoring for faculty, like, for example, increasing diversity. Today, we are seeing that we have very young people joining the faculty. We have cultural diversity. We have people coming from other countries and becoming lecturers. Gender issues, sexual orientation, all these things are bringing complexity. And therefore, a mentorship program would help us to create some kind of culture so that the younger members of faculty can find their way and to successfully understand the culture of our institutions. So increasing diversity is one of the areas that we see. People are coming in and very young, being told to become heads of departments and so on, and they have no experience. So mentorship would really come in as a resource there to help them to make ways out of it. Social dynamics can become a barrier. We have talked about this, where you have the personality, and if we leave it without institutionalizing mentorship, then a few things may not work very well. Like, for example, where potential mentees may not know how to seek help because they fear, and they fear that maybe the seniors may think they are weak, they don't know anything, and therefore they may not seek help, that although they have people who they think could mentor them. And on the other hand, you may have mentors who are too busy and may not be reached, and others who just feel it's not their obligation. And others who may say, yes, I would like to mentor this person, but on the other hand, they may be interfering. They may feel like they are interfering. So, and you also have in some of the departments where you have male-dominated departments, then you may have difficulties to reach out to the female faculty and all these complexities that are coming in. So how do we do it? And therefore, coming up with a deliberate way of doing things at an institutional level may help us to get a solution to that. Another reason may be increasing standards of productivity that adds up to the need for a structured mentoring. We know the younger people who are coming in, they are anxious to grow, and they have demands, and sometimes they don't know how they can climb up the ladder. So The new generation is maybe not like our old generation, so they may need more help in terms of looking out for clarity, guidance, and even collegiality to move up the ladder. So not only just in their research, but also in the teachings, and therefore having a standardized way of doing mentorship would be very important. There's also a growing recognition of the need for mentoring for mid-career and beyond. We have seen people are struggling to become senior lecturers, they are struggling to become associate professors, but once they get there, they don't know how to move to the next level. So they need, once people are promoted, they seem to drop off and they are not motivated and they are stalled. So we are not only talking about mentorship for people who are junior assistant lecturers or tutorial fellows, but also we are talking about even coming up with programs that would help faculty who are already in their middle level. How do we move them that they don't become demotivated and they move from their middle level faculty to continue to being productive even as they go to their retirement years. So coming up with a structured program would be very good. I think we talked about the qualities of a good mentor, helping, being a cheerleader and so on, being available, being analytic, asking questions. They should tell and tell, they should show and continue showing, they should watch what their mentees are doing, but also continue to support them. Being a cheerleader to your mentees maybe is the most, that you can do for them, those small achievements, helping them to achieve it and also recognizing that. So we need to build trust. We need to establish goal and take it. We need to take the actions and we need to celebrate the successes in whatever that we do. But there are three things that I would like us to just, as we move, as I conclude, I know I've taken too much time. As a mentee, you need to ask, and all of us should still seek mentors, although we are all saying we are mentors, but we need to seek mentors. Ask when you find that there's somebody who you think that can help you to move from one level to another, whether you're an associate professor, a senior lecturer, a lecturer assistant, whatever you are, do not hesitate to ask. Activate that relationship. It's like dating. If you have a girl that you like or a boy that you like today, then you need to go out there and look for them and try to see how you can build a relationship. So you need to activate that relationship and see how you can. And finally, you need to maintain the relationship in a meaningful way, in such a way that you are giving rewards to your mentor. You are giving them you're giving them feedback of what you're doing so that they can also see that the time that they're investing in you as a mentee continues. Thank you very much for your contribution. I really appreciate for that session. Back to you, Margaret.
Thank you so much, Prof, for such a wonderful presentation. Thank you, members, for the group work. I think it was exciting. I'm just glad that we are going back to another session of somebody needs to be mute. Aurelia, are you taking care of that one?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. And that was exciting. And I was just saying that I'm glad we are still going back to more mentorship with the next presentation, because I think there is a lot that we are going to do from here. And I think for me, I cannot overemphasize the fact that mentorship is about relationships, the relationship between the mentor and the mentor. Mentee, yes? Oh. There's a lot of interruption. Yes, so for now, we have a few minutes for a Q&A. I'm sure we have a lot to say, but we shall limit it so that we have time for the next presentation. So this is your moment to ask, to comment, to give feedback to Professor Wanja's presentation. Karibuni. Can put your hand up if you want to talk, or just speak up. Do we have anyone? There's a lot of comments I see, but we want to hear.
Maybe we can continue with the chat, and if there are any comments, then we can go to the next presenter.
Yes, I guess if we don't have any hands, okay. I see we have, who is that?
Hello, hello.
Yes, Eunice, go ahead.
Now, there's this issue about, I don't know whether I listened to the presentation of Prof properly. I think at some time, maybe I got interrupted, where faculty have their work, and you really want to mentor them, and you're interested even in the topic, you're even interested in the person finishing. And for me, I was really mentored very well by my professors, and I was able to finish my master's and my PhD in record time. Now, sometimes you find that faculty who have a master's and they're doing their PhD, you really see their work, you really want to help, but they're not willing. What can we do? How can we help? How can we indicate that we are not doing it in bad faith? Two, what about these students you mentor and then they disappear? How can we deal with this? It is so difficult. I know students have mentored and they have been in the masters for like 6 years or more. How can we do this? Those are my two questions.
Thank you, Dr. Nyabanga, for the questions. Yes, it's true that sometimes you see faculty that need help and you are unable to reach them. I think that's why we say sometimes they don't know that they need help, and probably you may find a way of reaching out to them because you are their seniors to help them out. And being a more senior in the area of expertise, you can always offer help, offer a hand, and they may start seeing it by asking questions and letting them know maybe this is the shortcut because you've been there. If you do things like this, things will become better because you have walked the road. That is the only thing that I could say in terms of helping the faculty. In terms of the disappearing students, yes, this is a big problem across all universities, I believe. And we should not wait until our students disappear. We should try to create that bond when the students come in. And I guess when we do that, then they will stay with us instead of disappearing. As soon as they join the department or the program, maybe that's when we should start and coming up with an institutionalized mentoring program. Maybe it would help, where you are helping to form that bond with the students, and you can follow them up easily than when we are letting them loose, and when they have disappeared is when we are trying to look for them. That's what I could say. We have two hands up, Josephine and Wairimo. Maybe we could go with Josephine and then Wairimo.
Yes, we shall have those two and then we shall move on to the next presentation. Okay.
The presentation. As I listen, I'm beginning to ask myself, and I think there's a similar question on the chat. When we talk about mentoring, we talk about supervision and maybe even advising or other concepts. So can one be a supervisor without necessarily being a mentor, or can one mentor and then you are not a supervisor and so on, so that it's very clear whether there are boundaries for this relationship? I think it needs to come out clearly, because sometimes we think we are mentoring. I don't know, it's just something that I thought should help me understand.
Thank you, Dr. Yes, I think in my view, I'm not an expert in this, but I think in my view, supervision, if I supervise my student, then I'm already a mentor to this student because this student is my junior and I am helping them to find their way. So when I'm supervising the student, then in that way, then I'm already a mentor to that student. That's how I view mentorship. And that's why I said at the beginning that mentorship could be formal or informal. Even when you're teaching, for example, you may be teaching in class and you are already mentoring the students. You may be a role model. I don't show up in my class late. Then I'm already mentoring those students in my class that coming late, I'm role modeling to them. So there is a thin line between being a mentor. You could have it formally where you really have a one-to-one relationship with this person, but also in a loose relationship where you're just giving advice. Students can walk into your room and they ask a few questions and they want to know things, but you could really have, like personally, I have students who, even faculty who I believe whenever they have an issue, they come to me and we talk. While others, I may just give advice on the corridors, but so it's a loose relationship from the formal one and the informal one. And I see the same question by Dr. Kanyaru asking the same thing. I think that's how it's it, but I could also ask others to add to that. Thank you, Dr.
Wairimu, maybe you can, Wairimu Getawa, you can go ahead and close the session for us, please, so that we can move to the next session.
I just wanted to, the question based on when professors or mentors take up a role where they then pursue and influence the mentee in a way that they would want them to pursue a certain direction with their work. Where do mentors and where must mentors then draw the line between, promoting their own work and agenda and issues, of course, having those boundaries. And also, how do we define mentorship and coaching so that people are not doing coaching when it's actually mentorship? Over to you, Professor Wanja and Dr. Margaret.
So yeah, the first question in terms of where your supervisor or your mentor is taking you to a direction that you do not want to go. That becomes difficult, but I think if you have a feeling that your mentor, then it means you do not have the right mentor. Because if you really know what you want and the person, and you're not getting, you're not finding your way between, you don't have that trust and it's not maybe a trust, maybe the expertise, you want to go to the south and the person is taking you to the east. And I think all universities have, they have a policy where you can always change your supervisor. We are talking about supervision here, because you may have a supervisor who says you go to this direction while you really know the direction you want to get to. And if you're not getting the right person, then I would say, then that person will not help you as a mentor because you're not pulling into the same direction. So in that case, I would request that the mentee changes the supervisor so that the person, because the person is not helping them, they are not pulling towards the same direction. Everybody have their own thinking and it will not work. And that relationship will be strained and the person may never even complete or may never achieve their goal because they are not being supported by the right person.
Thank you so much, Prof. I know we can go on and on this topic, but like I said, we are going to continue on the same topic of mentorship. But I just want to read one comment here because I feel it is important regarding to the question that has been asked from the Professor Dr. Otoma. He says, I think one can be a mentor without being a direct supervisor to the mentee, but you will never be a good supervisor without being a mentor. I totally agree. If we have, I think I'm losing power. Oh no. If we have, because in my case, just like Dr. Otoma is saying there, being a supervisor without mentorship, it means it is just a technical relationship. It is purely mechanical, where you as the supervisor, you just place your document there for your supervisee to pick it. In any case, I think maybe it's high time we started thinking about even the terms that we use. When we talk about a supervisor, what kind of image does it create? When you say my supervisor vis-a-vis my mentor. But I think we can discuss more of that after the next presenter. But thank you so much, Prof, for our very wonderful presentation. And thank you everybody for great engagement. Let us continue in the next 1 hour or so. And yes, so let me just introduce our next presenter. This is Dr. Tobias. Sorry, I should have got that name right. Dr. Tobias, are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm right here. I hope I'm audible. I think you've pronounced it well, whichever way you want to take it.
Okay, it's either, because I think I've had both versions, so that's why I just wanted to be sure with you which one it is. Okay, so Dr. Tobias Olweni, PhD. Tobias Olweni is a senior lecturer and a consultant based at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, School of Business, Department of Finance and Accounting, a practicing certified investment and financial analyst, and a member of ISIFA, Kenya. Prior to joining JKUAT, he lectured at the University of Nairobi School of Business in the Department of Finance and Accounting. He holds a PhD in finance from JKUAT, an MBA in finance, and a Bachelor of Education, Accounting and Mathematics, both from the University of Nairobi. He also has professional affiliations with Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. He has been a lecturer in accounting and finance for over 20 years, with extensive contributions to various finance researches, mentorship, and curricular development from bachelor's degree programs to doctorate levels. He is an examiner of various PhD theses and reviewer in several African finance journals. He has published various articles in renowned finance journals, presented papers in conferences, and authored 2 books focusing on stock market operations in Kenya. His research interests include asset pricing, financial intermediation, corporate finance, securities exchange markets, that is market microstructure, among others. He is currently working on several researches and projects to be published in due course, besides supervising various PhD and MS theses in Kenyan universities and other African countries. He has been a consultant for over 15 years, both at individual and consortium levels, having undertaken consultancies for major state corporations in Kenya, such as National Security Fund, National Industrial Training Authority, currently engaging with INAPS Kenya, National Housing Corporation, Kenya Wildlife Service, and Kenya Railways, among others. In addition, he has conducted market-based researches for firms such as Kenya Association Manufacturers and Capital Markets Authority, as well as finance and investments training for various institutions, including International Finance Corporation, IFC, Barclays Bank, Knight Frank Kenya, Safaricom, and Faulu Kenya, among others. And I think we could go on and on Professor Tobias. So Dr. Tobias, with that very great profile, you're welcome to share with us on your topic on research mentorship among institutions of higher learning. So the topic continues. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Now I'm audible. I had provided my slides to the secretariat. Yeah, already I think it's starting to share it. I am grateful to Professor Wanja and I will continue from where she has left. The only thing is that I was worried that we said that we are doing it from 10 to 12, and I think we are already at 12. So I'm wondering how many minutes I have, but I will actually take the shortest minutes possible so that we can wind it up. I know time may not be enough for such events because we need more and more time. So, and probably that will actually be a message to the organizing committee that probably with the time, we may create more time to discuss the subject of mentorship. As Professor had already noted that we can do mentorship from faculty to faculty. In this part of the program, we will try, and I will say try, to look at inter-university mentorship. And if I may start, I hope I'm together with every member. You are able to get me clearly. Can I
Yes,
get confirmation?
Yes, we can hear you. Tobias, continue.
Okay, so if we may start it up, we are discussing research in academia. And when we talk of research for academia, the journey is like a maze. That's why whenever we are doing graduations, someone has to carry the maze that shows what the journey of academia looks like. Of course, everyone who decides, who looks into the meaning of a maze, you find that it's a network of paths and edges that are designed as a puzzle through which one has to find knowledge, and hence for you to follow that, for you to follow the network of paths, the edges, the way it should be as a maze is defined, then you need mentorship so that you can actually do that. Obviously, from the academia setup, knowledge is supposed to be shared with colleagues. And that is essentially mentorship, because when we talk of mentorship, we are saying that I know something here and you might not be knowing it. Let's share it together. Of course, all of us that have been in the university compounds, you know that in the university, everyone is meant to share something with another person, from the VC going down to the junior lecturer that has just been employed as a tutorial fellow. There can be some exchange of knowledge there, and the mentorship is really that, which therefore means that when we mentor someone, we have to provide support. From time to time, the colleagues that we are mentoring will be asking us questions, and we respond to them, to the questions. As a junior faculty member, I had benefited from mentorship from many high-level professors at the University of Nairobi. That if you listen to my CV, I first learned at the University of Nairobi and taught at the University of Nairobi. So I had to ask questions to many so that I can learn a few things. Again, when you are mentoring, we strategize for solutions of problems together. Therefore, we can say essentially that mentorship is not confined to one stage of a faculty member's career, but it is throughout the faculty member's career. It means that all the time the faculty member has to continue being mentored at different stages. Even when you reach the middle level, say you have become a lecturer, you may need mentorship from the professors so that you can learn the things that are ahead. So when we say mentorship, we are guiding for successful integration of new members, and we want them to be accountability and to add mostly in research. Mentorship, therefore, is a collaborative learning process that draws upon knowledge on a variety of faculty members, particularly the senior members of the faculty. So through through mentorship, we expect that the junior faculty will successfully acquire some key competencies and that the mentee will expand their space, that is their options and opportunity. And they will be able to see opportunities in a different way. Mentee is also expected to return or develop mentoring. Sometimes now, from there, we can proceed to coaching skills. I hope, Aurelia, you are changing the slides accordingly because I'm moving a bit faster because of the time issues, and I also don't want to take long based on the fact that we have taken long earlier. So whenever we are doing mentorship, the junior is empowered with skills of personal development. So which way to go? Of course, many of us, when we think in terms of mentorship, especially from where we are here, we think in terms of informal mentorship. But there are also formal type of mentorship, which is structured and assigned, where we pair a mentor and a mentee with clear goals that they need to meet in a structured duration. That is structured or formal mentorship. But informal mentorship is a spontaneous initiation by either the mentee or the mentor based on perceived commonality. For example, when someone knows that I am seasoned in finance, for example, then they would want me to mentor them. Then they will simply come on a spontaneous basis. They initiate the mentoring process. And from there, I should, if I am willing, to mentor the young person. So Aurelia, you go to the formal versus informal mentorship. Yeah, that's where I'm discussing. So in our country, we don't see much of the formal structure of mentorship, except I think a few universities have formal mentorship. I think Strathmore might be having for students, not faculty as such, informal mentorship. And I think a few places in the University of Nairobi for informal mentorship, particularly in the professions like medicine and law, where we actually have informal mentorship in many universities between the students and the faculty. But faculty to faculty, we still have very little of that. So mentorship, we should know, is rarely compensated for. That is probably why maybe many mentees might not get the right mentorship because of the fact that maybe the compensation is not there directly. Or even many mentors may actually decide that they are looking for, especially during these hard economic times, they are looking for how to salvage themselves economically, and they don't do mentorship. You will later on discuss or think about it, which is the common approach in inter-university mentorship in Kenya. Is it formal or informal? Obviously, you will find it is more of informal. When we talk of inter-university mentorship, then we are saying that someone from the University of Nairobi and someone in JKUAT are related in some way where one is mentoring the other. And maybe someone from JKUAT and someone from KEMU are relating in a way where someone is mentoring the other. And what we are saying here is we are likely to meet more of informal type of mentorship. But I would want you to probe. I think though the group takes a lot of time, but you may need to probe why this, and to what extent is the practice often successful? Like, can we really say in Kenya that there exists inter-university faculty member mentorship? Someone who is a lecturer at KEMU is getting some mentorship from someone who's a senior lecturer or an associate professor in terms of research from JQuat, can we say that that is happening in our country? What are the responsibilities of each party in research mentorship process? To discuss those questions, probably if we get time, you can do the group. I was supposed to emphasize mainly on the inter-university mentorship in Kenya, so that I think in terms of a faculty member of a different university being mentored by another faculty member of a different university. And the question has been, do we have it in a formal way or informal way? What we see, because the situational analysis, what we see is that there is informal mentorship that is taking place in the university. Mainly what we see it happening now in terms of the mentorship is supervision and teaching, where we find a faculty member, say from Kenyatta University, is part-timing at KEMU. Through that, if the mentees, if that faculty member is senior, the mentees in KEMU can actually approach that faculty member and seek for mentorship. But we see it happening. At least we know that there is some part-time. Also adjunct faculty responsibility, because according to the Commission for University Education, it gives a provision for having an adjunct faculty. Through this, the faculty can tap from a seasoned researcher from a different university. Also, in thesis examination, we see a bit of this, where when research thesis has been sent for external examination, then the person is going through them, and also when there is any kind of link, they're able to meet probably in the, I think I've been able to do this, having external for Egerton University. When I go to the faculty meeting, then I'm able to provide my view on the thesis, but at the very time when there's some meeting now after that, they are able to approach, you are able to get a student approaching, or even other faculty members, and you discuss research, maybe over a little cup of tea and things like that. So those are the things we are seeing now. We are also seeing a bit of events and professional forums where faculty members are meeting, particularly maybe if you have HR, marketing events, then you have the persons from marketing, HR, or even finance, the professional members, and they happen to be lecturers. They meet and they start some kind of informal relationship that probably may lead to mentorship. We also see the Kenya Institute of Public Research Analysis and Policy Analysis doing something, but what I've seen they are doing is mainly student-based, So we still need them to look at the faculty, because I think at Kipra, they still they may still need faculty, to learn or share together on issues. Then, what we are also saying in the interfaculty mentorship is the issue of collaboration, interfaculty collaboration. As we know, all of us, is that we have a global village now. Globalization, therefore, puts us towards thinking in terms of multidisciplinary research collaboration. This has become the order of the day. And in Kenya, what we are seeing as of now is that researchers in Kenya are collaborating with other universities, and they get mentorship from foreign universities. It's not bad to get mentorship from foreign universities, but sorry, I think I'm seeing some, okay. It's not bad to get foreign university mentorship, but it's good to utilize our local professor also. Because when we look at some researches, collaborations that have been taking place, when you read, you see that the principal investigator is actually from a foreign university. And therefore, we believe that once you have a PI, the principal investigator from a foreign university, then at least mentorship will be taking place. I am yet to expose more situations here, but just a minute, take a reflection on how we can improve inter-university mentorship in Kenya. I will request Aurelia to just copy paste the questions and will send to the groups if there will be time, so that the groups would be able to discuss that. However, I think they may take a longer time for this. So where I've written a discussion question, Aurelia, you can cut and paste and put it somewhere so that groups can think about it. But what I wanted to tell you is take a reflection on how we can improve inter-university mentorship in Kenya. And even with this, what are the challenges of finding and establishing research collaborations in Kenya and mentorship? But from what I've told you, and it is documented anyway, that most of institutions in Kenya of higher learning or universities mainly tend to collaborate with other universities from outside the country, especially UK, Japan, US. Like I can remember at our very own Jomo Kenyatta, there are researchers that normally come, and they come from JICA or Africa in Japan. We have actually at one moment forwarded our proposal for the grant, and we are trying to look at there are more innovation, mostly innovation focused research. So we are trying to look at innovative research, and it is funded by those groups. However, the argument is what happens in the local scene. Ideally, the local scene is bad, but then we need some improvement. For example, when you look at the local scene, we have the National Research Fund. NRF is encouraging collaborative research grants among Kenyan universities. Also, Kenneth is also providing some catalysis to the migrant and the travel grants. So what should happen, or what is happening now currently? A few cases, for example, myself have been able to write for NRF funding combining with other researchers. In this case, the other researcher was from Strathmore University, a junior, because we know each other. But it is still too little. We need to do more. You know, despite the efforts by NRF to ensure that there's some research funding that can be collaborative applied, which can lead to mentorship. Because you see, when I become a principal investigator, and we also have other researchers, these junior researchers will actually learn the way on how to do a proper grant or research proposal writing. But we have a problem in Kenya. We seem to be so much competitive, and we don't want to collaborate with other faculty mentorship. And that is something to think about. I'm proposing that NRF and NACOSTI could dig deeper through studies. NRF and NACOSTI could dig deeper through studies on what are the barriers to this collaboration of research between inter-universities within Kenya, which are actually also hindering mentorship. Because you see, if there is a collaboration, then mentorship will be encouraged. So I'm proposing that NRF, I don't know whether we have NRF and NACOSTI representatives who are listening to me, so that we do a dig deeper through studies. We may want to work together and look at this. What is it that is causing it? Also, discovery of researchers and discovery of researchers and their research interests for participation in collaborative research and provision of open space of mentorship among researchers. That's something that needs to be looked into. My discussion question there is, what are the strategies that can be put in place so that we can attract collaborative research and mentorship? And I think Aurelia will be able to copy those questions together and look at them. But I have some hints on that. One could be thinking through in terms of joint conference attendance so that we are able to put together. And I think this one Afelt can also do. With this passion on mentorship, Afelt can also look into this. How can we put our people together, build a database of researchers? Of course, of late we have seen, the Google Top Scientist Index. Quite a number of researchers from the country. You can just go maybe 1,000, top 1,000 researchers, top 500 researchers, and see what you have, build that database of researchers.
Are we losing Dr. Tobias?
I'm here. Sorry, I think there was an interruption.
Okay.
Organize for research forums and also extend the question to cover a regional perspective. That is, my thinking was that we can think in terms of regional perspective on this. So those are some of the hints that I'm providing, but I think we need to go back to how we can look into the idea of collaboration. Of course, I had some session on, at some part looking at mentoring models that are available. This can be used at the faculty level or at the interfaculty level. The old model has been the guru model, where you have a professor who knows everything, provides seamless support and guidance to colleagues in the profession or department. And this is dependent maybe at the faculty level or nationally. We had that problem at the University of Nairobi, especially in the Department of Accounting and Finance. We had our own emeritus, Professor Nzomo, where you depend so much on one person, and that's the guru. But this model might not really be a good way of mentorship. Even if you are a faculty member and you are using the guru model, you may not be having expanded space because the one faculty member cannot be knowing everything. So the most preferred model is mentoring network, where we have a broad array of faculty members creating a variety of mentors, both peer and senior. This one can actually be drawn from all over, so that we have sort of a data bank that draws all over. And I think the best way is probably, I think one of the ways that has been that can be helpful is from external examination point of view, where you are able to get people that are seasoned in the area, and they are able to, when you are interacting with them, having done the external examination, they are able now to, they are now able to communicate with the faculty members. For example, assuming that I've done external examination for KEMU, and then there is a meeting at KEMU. I go there, I interact with faculty members in my area, and sometimes it might be resourceful for some of them, or maybe someone comes from Kenyatta University to JKUAT, and they are a renowned professor, or they are in that area, they can be useful. They can form a mentorship network. So that could be a good proposition for interfaculty mentorship. Again, we have a wide array of approaches to mentorship. Quite a number of them, I think I've covered in this presentation. I may not be able to take us through each and every one of them, but like individual mentorship, team mentorship, mutual mentorship, and also professional seminars and conferences where we handle mentorship issues. So basically, it is possible to do better than what we are doing. in Kenya now, as far as interfaculty mentorship is concerned. I'm suggesting a way forward as follows. One is that having assessed the Kenyan inter-university mentorship situation, we should think of improving this mentorship. My way forward there is maybe encourage faculty members to meet quite often or have these forums like this one of Afelt here, so that faculty members can discuss on joint publication. You know, I think mentorship can also take place when you are able to publish a paper together in a quality or impact journal. You know, put each and every person bring their part, and you know, when we read, like you see, maybe I publish with someone from Kenyatta University and another one from Egerton University, then we are able to mentor each other in the process. Also, productive research or proposal grant writing. This could also be one of the ways of ensuring that there is mentorship. And as you can see, it requires connection. It requires what we networking. And I think for us who are in the faculty, I'll just share my experience just briefly. We sometimes meet with students in the faculty, and then these students tend to be later on, when we bring them up well, very resourceful for us in terms of connection. I've had an experience of that. I was at one moment, I think I was excited to see Damari Sikali around because we taught with her at Moi University at one time, and we could actually teach some of the students, supervise them, and then those students go to the universities. Like in my case, one went to the UK, and from there we have been continuing to have constant communication, and the other side there is structure. So it's able to move up the ladder and bring more connections and partnerships. And we find that this makes mentorship work because essentially I was the mentor, but it's now able to bring other researchers that probably are very useful for me and they are mentoring me again. So I think we need to take up certain things like that and so that we are, and of course it's because of the good mentorship relationship that we had with him that makes that connection possible. Now he's at the University of York in the UK. Previously was at the Essex University. So you can see that this kind of connections or rather network can actually increase mentorship pursuits. Also, the industry, I think there are some industries that are actually requiring more of faculty contribution. I think this one is very little in Kenya. I think it is important to improve it. Those are just my hints on the way forward. But I think members, because you have listened to me, you can also suggest quite a number of ways that we can actually improve mentorship. If there was time, I don't know whether there is, but if there was time, the questions that I put forth in my presentation would be discussed among the group members. However, I think that there might not be enough of that time. But I think, Aurelia, you can communicate the questions to the members, including the things that I was suggesting in the discussion questions. From my end, that will be it. But I'm here for any question and answer so that I can be able to talk together with us. Thank you so much, Afelt, for the opportunity to share my thoughts on interfaculty mentorship. I think these are just some few things because we do not have time, but there could have been more. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tobias. And it's unfortunate that we are running out of time, but I think we are right on time, so we are not actually late. So everybody, please bear with us for a few more minutes. We shall be winding up soon. We don't want anyone disappearing before we finish. I think this is also a good forum where we can also learn in terms of how much time we need for, these kind of presentations, so that we kind of factor in the fact that this can take a little bit longer. We are all in the learning process. But thank you so much. So this time, we want just to have a short, maybe just 2 or 3 comments or questions to Dr. Tobias' presentation. I think the one thing that I've taken that is really crucial is the fact that many of our universities, we really want to have these kind of linkages and collaborations with foreign universities, but there is so little that happens amongst ourselves. I think that is a very serious issue that we really need to address, because I think we need to interact more internally before we even go out. And also the fact that it is good that we take pride in those that we have mentored. And congratulations, Tobias, for those who are doing so well after your mentorship. Yeah, I think it is a good thing to take pride in that. So it is open, 1 or 2 comments. If you want to shoot a question or a comment, please do quickly before I hand this over back to Aurelia. Anyone with a question, comment? No question, no comment?
Hello, may I ask a question?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes, my name is Professor Mbogwa from Kenyatta University.
Karibu sana, Prof.
I first of all want to thank Tobias. What he has brought out are very, very many and very impressive details on mentorship and issues of supervision. Very good. Thank you so much. I like especially the model you brought out of the guru model. And then you have teased apart some of the other points in terms of what really works on the ground, because some of us in our growth, we got kind of caught up in the guru model, because sometimes you would feel you want to move, but you actually are not allowed to keep moving, because you ask whoever is your boss or whoever is your senior, and they don't seem to be having enough time for you. So I don't know whether this the experience of the members here, but my observation is that, yes, I agree with the presenter that we need to look at various models. Thank you very much, Tobias. I'm just seeing your name here. I've just been using my iPhone, I mean my phone, but now I'm on my laptop, so I can see all the names. Thank you. So what I'm saying is that I think it's a good model. And I think, yes, this is a good forum also to kind of keep on exchanging our ideas with one another. Because when one wants to grow career-wise, then you need some people who are ahead of you that can teach you. I also wanted to comment on the previous presentation about the difference between supervision and mentorship. And I liked the example given by the chair. But yes, you cannot be one without the other. And if you're not a good mentor, then you cannot supervise very well. But I also liked the idea that you can be a mentor that is actually kind of mechanical. And that's not very good. We need relationships that work, because I trust you. I know I can ask you some of the issues I'm going through, some heartaches and things that I'm going through, and that in a way that's also very helpful. So I just wanted to put those 2 points across about external examination, interacting with the people from other universities, various professions, because you'll always learn. There is always something new to learn when you listen to one another. All of us have something that you have specialized in, or you have gone through, and therefore you have something to contribute in the world of knowledge. And for me, it's simply to agree very much with Tobias. And thank you so much for teasing out all this. The last point is, can we get this presentation probably through our emails or something, so that we can be able to refer to them when we need them? Because this is not a one-time thing. It's something that you may need to keep referring to as you grow and as you help others. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you so much, Prof. I think the question about sharing the PowerPoints, Aurelia will advise us, or the chair. And thank you so much for that observation. I think we have one more question. Let's take one more. Geoffrey, I see Geoffrey's iPhone. I'm not so sure. I don't see the name, so it is just reading Geoffrey's iPhone.
Thank you, Chair. I think these are very insightful deliberations. And I want to believe that going forward, maybe we need to have a kind of open-minded in terms of how even the faculty will be able to look around what are some of the challenges that the learners are facing in terms of utilizing this, various capacities that are available. Because of course, like when we are doing our thesis, you find that there are aspects maybe on methodology. So maybe it will appreciate if the faculty will be able to really identify some of the challenges that the learners are facing, such that they are able to maybe attach the learners to specific faculty members who can be able to support in terms of maybe accomplishing the work. And I think that is very key in terms of how then we'll be able to progress well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't see if we have any other hand up, but I'm sure this is a conversation that will go on, and I'm sure way forward there is going to be much more. So maybe at this point we just give our friend, our colleague, who is giving us the way forward.
Maybe if I can say something, Dr. Margaret, I see
Yes,
a very
please.
interesting
Yes,
question on
please.
the chat.
Yes.
From someone by the name Lamek, on intra-institution, and I think Dr. Wanja or Dr. Lweni can respond to this, on intra-institution mentorship program. Example of me being a student of biotechnology from Pwani University, which is in Kilifi. How can I get a mentor from another university? Sorry, over to you, Dr. Njero.
Okay, I think that one goes to one of the presenters. If Professor Wanja or Dr. Tobias, you want to make a response to that question, quick question, how to get...
If I had a well, I don't know whether I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yes, she's asking how can she benefit from the inter-university mentorship. The first step would always be, as a biotechnology student, it is important to keep abreast with what is happening in biotechnology. So attend some of the conferences, attend some of the seminars of the same. You are likely to meet people who have come from other faculties of biotechnology. Maybe you are in one university, you might meet maybe someone from Egerton University who is on the assistant researcher on biotechnology through conferences, through professional organizations. There is one for the biotechnology, and also just by looking at some of the good researchers, you will always find them. Even if you look at faculty in the website, you are likely to find them, although it might be a bit difficult, but it's important also to link up with your department at the school, Pwani University, so that you can be able to see who is it probably who frequent or come to the university. So I think the best way is get to attend the seminars, professional meetings, get to interact with your faculty. Well, they might even be knowing others from other faculty. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. I don't know if Prof. Wanja wanted to add on that one.
Yes, thank you. I agree with what Dr. Lweni has said in terms of linking up. It all starts, that's why we are talking about starting with having a mentor internally. Of course, I mentioned that using the social or internet networks would also help. But attending, of course, workshops and seminars like these would also help you to link up. But you need to talk to the faculty, to the members of faculty in your department, because they'll be able to link you up. But going to seminars and workshops will also help you. And you can also directly, if you know somebody, just write to them. And remember, I said you ask, you activate, and then you maintain. So don't feel shy to ask. Look for their names through publications that they have written and write to them and ask if they can, if you think that they are working in an area of your interest, then you can already activate. It's up to you to look out for some of these people and ask them. I know a lot of us who are mentors are always ready. If a student or anyone comes to me, I'm always ready to, to work with them. So don't feel shy to ask. At least even if they say no, you'll have tried. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Prof. I think that's the way to go. And I think that is why it is all the more important to create these inter-university linkages, collaborations, so that we also avoid situations where a student in one university is seeking mentorship from somebody in another university, and the person maybe in their local university starts feeling threatened, or, just to make sure that these inter-university collaborations, mentorships are just normal. I think the universities need to step in to strengthen these kind of collaborations. And with that, I think I want to call upon Dr. Cyprian Otieno to give us the way forward. We just don't want people to run away for lunch before we finish. So, and I think Aurelia, you had your hand up, eh? Sorry.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's Desmond. It's Desmond who's giving us the way forward. And I just want to say we'll also share a feedback link where we would like to hear your feedback. We will speak to the presenters who will also give us permission to share their presentation. So if you registered, I just will share again the link so that we can have your email. I just wanted to mention something very briefly based on our discussions that I'm in the area of research mentorship. And what I also noticed, we don't have a lot of scholarship in terms of African scholars writing, theorizing around research mentorship. Most of the scholarship is from the West. And I think this is part of the opportunity we can take to start documenting and really going deep in doing applications around how do we mentor in our own context based on our experiences, and even have it as a research area. So I think that's a challenge for us all. So on our part on Afelt, we are going to document these processes, even in terms of blogs, and encourage all of us to really contribute to the scholarship of mentorship and have more African voices leading the discussions on mentorship. Desmond, are you there? If you're ready, please take us to the way forward as we get the feedback link. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aurelia. And I think the way forward has more or less been painted to the extent that as Afelt, we organize these webinars on a quarterly basis. And you have created a forum where we can continue engaging in these areas and building up a forum where networking can happen. So we run a blog where we are going to publish all that has come out of this webinar today. And we encourage more of you to join us so that I think as it's been proposed, if you are to move away from the guru model and get into the networking model of mentorship, through Afelt, it's going to be very possible to maybe strike that very easily. Thank you also for sharing. I think Professor Wanja, it came out very clearly that we need to create chemistry amongst ourselves as mentors and mentees. And one way of doing this is just by deliberately being in spaces where you are interacting with peers. And you want just to emphasize that Afelt provides those kind of opportunities. So we welcome you to join us. We are a professional association. We have a series of committees, the way Aurelia indicated earlier, and each and every one of us has an opportunity to contribute to the mentorship that we are preaching about here today. So thank you so much for finding time. I don't know if Damari is in the house today. Our chairman is Dr. Chip. He was not able to join us in this webinar. If Damari is in the house, she can give us the any closing remark. But if she's not in the house, I think we are in a very good place in terms of the way forward that has been painted, that Afelt would continue providing an opportunity for us to network as colleagues and as universities, and we welcome you to join us on this journey. So look out for our next webinar, which is going to come in maybe 2 or 3 months, and we also invite you to join our membership, and all the details about how you can join Afelt have been provided there. Thank you so much, Prof. Wanja, and thank you so much, Dr. Tobias, for the facilitation that you've given today. Over to you, Aurelia.
Damari is in the house.
Sorry. Yes, Damari. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Damari.
The only challenge is I am not quite visible because for some reason, as I turn on my camera, I am told I'm editing Professor Josephine Nyaboke Arasa's whiteboard. I don't know how that is happening. So if she's in the house, she might as well pull it down. But all the same, I really want to thank everyone and all of us for finding time to attend this webinar. You have already known how we go about our business as Afelt. However, for me, the greatest thing is we have now wet our throats as academicians, as researchers, we have wet our throats, and we all realize from the 2 presentations, there is so much that we still have to do as far as mentorship in research is concerned. And therefore, the more we hold these kind of discussions, the better it will be for us to build a rich research mentorship ecosystem in Kenya, and of course, extend it to East Africa and the rest of the world. I take cognizance of the fact that research in Africa is only at 3%, at least the last time I checked. And there are many issues around research in Africa, because a lot of what has been published is not even published by, say, we Kenyans or we the people in Africa. You find we are having our partners and collaborators from the foreign lands, the UK and the USA, publishing about Kenya, yet we ourselves are there. So that is the greatest challenge for me. How can we enhance our research? How can we mentor one another so that we engage in more research? That is my parting shot. And I want to wish everyone well. Thank you so much for coming. And I trust that we will see you in our next set of webinars. Please feel free to suggest an area of further discussion as well. You can do that in the chat. And we have also shared a feedback link. Please go in there and give us your thoughts, because it is your thoughts that will build us and help us do what we are doing in a much better way that will bring prosperity to not only our institutions, but to the rest of Africa and the world at large. So I'm very grateful, and for purposes of sharing the presentations with the permission of the presenters today, I trust that we can put our email addresses, or we can share them as we share the feedback. Sorry, not as we share the feedback, but we can share them with Joyce. Joyce is our office manager. And so she can receive all that, and we will communicate and get back to you. Thank you once again to our presenters, both Prof. Wanja and Prof. Odweng, and you have given us very useful insights. Thank you everyone who has come in, and of course, I trust that you are walking away with something that you will definitely go to put to some good use. Let's encourage one another. Let's strengthen relationships between ourselves rather than competition. If we are relating well and we are strong and we are united, then we will stand. Thank you and God bless each one of you. Yeah. Over to you, Aurelia.
I cannot speak after Prof. Damari because she has said it too well. So just to encourage you, please put your feedback on the feedback link. If we don't have your email, please, on the chat, you will see someone called Afelt Joyce. Please send your email to her and we will be able to receive it. Otherwise, bye-bye. And we will soon see you in our next webinar.
Aurelia, no picture.
I'm quite old school. If everyone is comfortable, we can take a picture, although I do not have a good phone. Someone who has a nice phone, please.
There might be a tech person.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a tech person.
Anyone who is techie?
I think sorry, it's just about capturing our screenshot. So maybe if you can all switch on our cameras.
Okay.
Yeah, then I will capture a screenshot from my end here. Oh, what have I done?
Yes, it's good for documentation.
Yeah. So view, I think I need to view gallery. Yes, lovely. We have 33 of us here, screenshot. How do I close this chat? Oh. Just a moment, there, print screen. I've saved it to OneDrive. We can smile a little more. Thank you. I've captured another screen. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending. God bless. Let's see you in our next webinar. And please welcome and join us at Afelt.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Tangu saa 3. It's a webinar.
Grace, are you able to save the chat so that we can see the questions?
Yes,
that
it's automatically saved.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So we can remain behind. Are you sure for the panel?
Thank you, Prop.
Yes, we will do that. Cyprian, your exam is over.
Thank you so much, Tobias.
You can stop the recording, I think. We can stop the recording, eh?
Oh, yeah. Do we have a YouTube page for Afelt? Because we can be posting these webinars there.
Yes, we do. You're actually live today.
Oh, perfect.
You didn't see yourself live. You were there.
Yes, I saw it was streaming.
Okay. I think it's